I'm Megan Mitchell. This is my co-host, John Morrison, and you are listening to the True North Racing Podcast.
Time to strap in, pull those belts, and get ready for an action-packed episode of the True North Racing Podcast. Are you ready to unmask? Unhelmet your favorite racers? Get ready for the most fun you'll have outside the racetrack to get you ready for the next race. You're listening to John Morrison and Megan Mitchell, and this is the True North Racing Podcast.
Welcome back to a new episode of the True North Racing Podcast, brought to you by Vision 20 Studios. I'm your host, John Morrison. This week, we are going to be joined by a rookie in the Ontario Sportsman Series. His name is Ollie Ferguson. He drives the number 55. He hasn't been running a full season with the series because this is his first year. Last year, he was in junior late models. This year, he's moved up to a full-size car. He's a huge learning curve, and we're excited to get to learn all about it. So we're not gonna bring in Ollie just yet. We're gonna, of course, have our little bit of a breakdown because this is the first episode since, well, I got to go racing. I got to try out racing. I did a practice session at Delaware Speedway on Monday with Chris Lawrence and BT Racing. I got to give a big shout out to Chris Lawrence, Wade Thorne, and Rob Twitchett for their help. I had a lot of fun. I don't know how many laps I got in, I'm going to be honest, but each time out, I felt like I was getting a little bit better. I did make a couple blunders. I did spin. We got a video. We're going to put it out here shortly. I think shortly after we're done recording this, I should have it ready to go. I had a lot of fun being able to finally get to strap in a race car and see what it's like turning left. And you guys are going to check it out soon as well here, because this is I don't really have too much to say about it, but I can tell you guys this much. I had a lot of fun. If I ever get the opportunity to do something like this again, I would likely jump at the chance to, even just for practice sessions, just to see what it's like, because they ended up having to put out there was so many cars on Monday that they actually had to send us out with other cars. So my first time on track was actually around other cars. So it was not really what I was expecting, but at the same time, I was very thankful for the opportunity to get out there, talk to a couple of people. I talked to Will Corey was out there Monday practicing. He noticed I was getting better. Rod Twitchett, some of the feedback I've gotten from Wade and Chris and Rob, even when I spun and I came into the pits, because we were shortly near the end of the session at that point, they asked how it was. I said, well, I found the line. I stepped over it. He goes, how do you feel? I'm like, I feel great. Like, I know I need to back it off just a hair, or change my approach on how to get in the corners. And the entire time, like, if I had a question, I would literally just have a quick debrief with them. Because of how many cars there was on Monday, we did have to kind of keep going through. So I'd pull into the pits, check in with them. They asked me what I was feeling, what I saw, what I was feeling, and seeing where I could improve. I was already wanting to improve. Like, it was great to get out there. The first session I did, I'm gonna be honest, I ran really slow. I just kind of got my feet wet, and I was soaking in the fact that I was in a stock car. Because for people who don't know me, I have been known as a very gullible person growing up. With that being said, I've overcome that, and I think I've gone from one extreme to another, because now what I do is I will not believe you until it's either I see it with my own eyes or it's happening. That was the same case. I put up a whole thing on my Facebook about it, and it's necessarily just because when I did it, so like it's not that I've been burned before or anything like that, but I have, there's stuff I've wanted to do. There's things I've really wanted to try, and unfortunately, it just something's always come up, and that's not a big deal. It happens. That's life. So even when back in July, Brandon Feeney, Jacqueline, they surprised me with getting to get behind the wheel of stock car. I was like, I was excited because it's been a dream of mine, but at the same time, I'm sitting there going like, all right, I'm waiting for someone to say just kidding, or it something happened, right? And that's okay. Like it's just my extremes that I've gone through. Like I've been excited about this, but it is all I can say is I finally did it, you guys. I finally got behind the wheel of a stock car. I turned some laps. I think, like I said, I probably improved a little bit, not much. Would I make a field at Delaware? Absolutely not. But guess what? If I get a chance to go out and practice again, I'm gonna keep trying, and I want to get better personally because it would just be a lot of fun, even just to get better, just to see where I can go, where I can get better. Because it's definitely different than moving a thumb joystick on a controller game or sitting in a sim seat or something like that. It Now you really get the feel of it, and it was such a cool feeling. I'm When you guys check it out, go check it out on YouTube, Joe Media. It's all right there. You guys are gonna see me spin. It's I don't I don't know how to like this. I'm gonna be honest, guys. The spin was weird because I obviously never felt anything like that before in a stock car. And Wade and Chris talked to me about it and what I should do because it's obviously different than how you would handle a street car kind of deal, and they helped me through it. I think I followed what they said. You guys go check out the video for yourselves and let me know. But yeah, other than that, guys, yeah, go check out the video. It's go share it, like it, subscribe. Subscribe to Joe Media on YouTube, guys. I really appreciate it a lot. But enough talking about about me getting into a stock car. How about we get to a guy who does this on a regular? Let's bring in this week's guest, Ollie Ferguson. You're diving into Vision 20 Editing. New company with their services providing video editing to get your video perfect and exactly the way you guys are looking for. They also do audio mastering, where they're going to take your audio and make it crisp and clear. They're bringing your vision to life. That is right. At Vision 20 Editing, we want to make sure that your vision comes to life in the way you want it. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at Vision 20 Studios. Now let's get back to the True North Racing Podcast. Joining us this week on the True North Racing Podcast, we are sitting down with the driver number 55 in the Ontario Sportsman Series. We got Ollie Ferguson. Ollie, how's it going, man?
Going pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Thank you for joining us. It's I know it's a little bit different than what we were going to schedule. Because I was talking to your dad a while ago, and we were supposed to set this back up in July, but timing didn't work out. You were going to be away, so I'm glad we have you on the show now.
Well, thank you guys for having me on. I'm really excited about it.
We're excited to have you. So let's jump right into it. Why don't you tell the folks a little bit about yourself?
So I am a 13-year-old Ontario Sportsman Series driver. This is my rookie season so far, and 5th year in racing. In my previous years, I had raced junior late models.
All right. So let's dive into that, because you just said it yourself, you spent 5 years in junior late models. So obviously 13 years old, take that back 5 years, guys. That's not that old to be behind the wheel of a stock car, first of all. So how did you get your start in racing?
So my dad's always been a fan of racing, so I sort of just jumped on the bandwagon there, and I've loved racing since I was really little, and I just saw a junior late model at Motorama in, I believe, like 2014 or 2015, and I just fell in love with racing even more, knowing I could do it as a kid, maybe one day.
So how much convincing did you have to do to your dad to let you get a junior late model?
It was. I said I would save up as much money as I could, and then I would pitch in to buy the car too. So that was sort of a tipping point for my dad, is that it was going to be a responsibility for me to be able to buy my own race car and like work on it myself and race it and like have to do the repairs and everything.
So obviously at 8 years old, you're not going to go out and get a job at working at McDonald's. So what did you have to do to save money? Did you have a paper route? Did you talk to your parents about doing chores around the house? Like, what was that deal like?
It was just saving up birthday money and cutting grass, doing chores around the house, simple stuff. And I saved for about a year and a half, and I had enough to meet my dad halfway, and we bought a car and went racing.
So who did you buy your car off of?
So it was one of the two Cody Wild cars.
Okay. That's awesome. So you guys traveled out. I guess you guys would have traveled out to London way for those cars. So whereabouts are you from though?
So originally I'm from Toronto,
Okay.
but when I got sick, I moved to Cincinnati for about 6 months, and after that we moved back to London, and then we ended up in Lindsay.
Okay. Lindsay, where is that again? Oh God, I
It's
used to know where that is.
like 30 minutes away from Peterborough.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was out that way. I just couldn't remember. Um, so uh we know a little bit. I know personally a little bit about Ollie Strong. Um, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
So when I was 4 years old, I went to the Lindsay Fair with my family, and I got a cut on my toe, and I got a virus that attacked my liver. And eventually, the medicine that was given to me led me into bone marrow failure, aplastic anemia, and it just sort of went on from there and led into bone marrow cancer. And I had to get a bone marrow transplant. And my sister was my donor, and I'm very thankful for her, and I'm really honored to be her brother.
Oh wow, that's I did I like I said I knew a little bit, but I didn't know too much. Um, so Ollie Strong really obviously I saw that recently. You had I think your dad's had it up that it was your rebirth. Is that correct?
Yes, it was the day
So
of my transplant. I
okay,
call it or my
okay. So I don't even I hate to say it, I don't know how to work for myself from that right now. Um, so what is so Ollie Strong, that's it's really great to hear. Obviously, it's great to hear that you're here. It obviously cancer sucks. Like it's uh, well, I went so deep there, and I'm so sorry, guys. Um, because now I God damn, I'm Ollie. I'm so sorry, man. Right now,
no problem
uh,
at all.
I led myself down a hole, and I don't know how to get myself out of it right now. Uh, so with Ollie Strong, what is there anything you're doing to, I guess, help towards the cause that hindered you for a while?
Um, so we've been trying to, like, 1 year in 2021 we had a Christmas toy drive for the Ronald McDonald houses
Okay.
all over on. So we went to London, Ottawa, and I believe Toronto, and they have a toy closet there where they give a kid a ticket like every month, and they get to go pick one thing out of the toy closet. And so we gathered a bunch of toys, and everyone in the racing community donated a toy or two, or even Bobby Tolton came with a car full of toys,
Oh wow.
and everyone pitched in, and we all really appreciated all my dad's friends from high school and everything. So we've been able to help with the Ronald McDonald House with toys and stuff like that.
Now, out of curiosity, are you guys planning on doing anything this year?
So at Delaware, this coming race is Go Gold for Mason, and it's you can buy like pit signs or lawn signs to put your pit for $30.
Oh wow. Well, I guess it's a good time that we're gonna have you on here because I'm gonna get this episode up on Thursday. Um, so if they want to buy a sign, they can come down by you guys. Or
I believe buy it at the I'm not sure,
okay,
but there's a girl providing them, I believe, in the tech shed.
all right, perfect. Well, if anyone is
Or sorry, Ron Bouchot's pit will have them, I believe.
okay, so if anyone is at Delaware Speedway on Friday night, go stop by, pick up a sign, and let's support a great cause. So obviously, let's get back into onto a different path here a little bit. So you're 5 years into racing. It's so weird to hear that from such a young guy as well. So your first year of racing, first of all, what was it like? How, like what was was it a lot different than you've seen on TV?
Well, it was definitely a big step from being in like a little 9-year-old playing video games to actually being in a car going 100 kilometers an hour. It had its ups and downs. Like you have your highs and lows of crashing and winning and stuff. And I ended up crashing, I believe, July 29th. And we were just going down to Watkins Glen the next weekend. And we met Kurt Busch.
Oh wow.
And I just, the crash I was in before, I ended up dive bombing, and you can't really do that in cars that you're going wide open. So when we were down there, my dad, as a joke, was just went to, "Hey Kurt, can you give him some driving instructions? He's heard it from me and he won't listen, so maybe he'll listen." And Kurt's like, you can't dive bomb when you're going wide open. And then the next week I ended up going out and winning. So it was a pretty good first year.
I'd say so. So you better have thanked Kurt Busch in that victory lane speech. Like,
Yeah, I did.
see,
The whole crowd didn't know what I meant, if I had actually meant like thank you Kurt Busch, or just definitely fun.
Absolutely, that's awesome. Like, it's obviously so cool when you get a chance to meet NASCAR drivers, whether it be at a racetrack or I've been to Delaware when they had their Wednesday showdowns back in 2010. I had a chance. I couldn't get near Kyle Busch because Kyle had like 6 security guards and I was not moving them. But I could get near. I was able to walk. I talked to David Rudman for 15 minutes while the race was going on.
Yeah, that's awesome. Another guy like that is Ross Chastain. He's always been a super nice guy.
See, I've always suspected that. Like, it's usually the guys who are like rough on the track are usually the nicest once the helmets come off.
Yep, Joey Logano too.
So where did you get a chance to meet Ross Chastain and Joey Logano? Was that at a racetrack or?
Yeah, I've been very fortunate because of my past. Race teams have offered us garage passes and stuff like that, so we get to go in the garage. And at Bristol, I ended up meeting both of them. But Ross, I had met back in 2018 when he was driving for Premium at Pocono, and he was super nice back then. Talked to him for like 10 minutes, and then after the Bristol race again, he was still super nice after driving the one car.
Wow. See, that's great when people don't change who they are, like after getting into a really good ride or something like that. So obviously racing your first couple of years, going out and winning out, and after talking to Kurt Busch, just say, "Hey man, this is what you can do." It obviously it's a good feeling. How many races have you won in your entire junior late model career?
So far in my career of junior late models, I probably won't race them again, but 3 feature wins, a pole win, and a dash for cash win.
That's not bad. That's pretty good actually.
And 2 of those wins came in my first year.
Man, you had the magic foot in your first year. So obviously moving forward, was there a lot of learning curves to try and get better? What did you do to improve each time out?
So my second year was definitely my biggest learning curve because I went to a new track full throttle for my first time. And it was really weird being like from a track that so well, going to a completely different track that is completely different feel. and like way more banking. And I ended up the race. I ended up figuring out the track on the last lap of the last corner. I got just me and another car made a little bit of contact, and since there's no suspension in our cars or the junior lights, they would just snap around, and I ended up catching the curb at the bottom, and I ended up barrel rolling 7 times.
Oh wow.
So that was a big learning curve to get back in the car 2 weeks later or whatever it was. And it was a little, I was a little nervous to get back in the car, but I knew if I didn't get back in the car, I wouldn't be able to do it again.
No, you're absolutely right. And it's weird to say, but sometimes after an incident, they always say the best thing to do is to get right back into the car. It's almost to not let that fear set in, right?
Yeah.
So last year, so with the barrel roll, that wasn't last year, was it?
No, it was 2020.
That was 2020. Okay. So I reached out to your Facebook page last year to see about if you guys were going to come on, if you guys would like to buy an ad in Inside Track when I was doing some stuff with them. And I guess your dad was the one I was talking to through that. You guys were involved in an accident last year that essentially ended your season. What talk us through that? What happened?
So I was the first couple of races went really good. I ended up finishing second, and the third race, it was an eventful day of spinning in practice and touching the wall, which a little messed the car up because one of the tires had no tread left on it. So I was just sliding around the whole race, and I ended up winning that race, thankfully, and that put me first in points. And going into the fourth race, the first lap of the first corner, another driver got loose and right hooked me into the wall and just broke the chassis, basically.
You were okay after that, though?
I was mostly okay. I had some back issues, like I had kidney stones at the time, but they moved because of the impact.
Yeah.
And it was like a battle from then on to get them taken out and everything from that. It was pretty painful for a while. I missed a couple months of school, and so I was doing online or home schooling.
Yeah.
But it was kind of positive because I ended up going to something bigger and faster.
And that is what's sitting currently right behind you. Is your what is it a Chevy Camaro? Is that what?
Yes.
Is your Chevy Camaro that you run in the Ontario Sportsman Series? So you went from a little, like, was it 9 horsepower, 15 horsepower Honda
horsepower.
engine up to a 350 horsepower motor. You had that's a big learning curve, because I don't know many people who go from a junior late model up to a V8 car that quick. What was the decision behind it to go from like a 9 horsepower and then let's add 300 more horsepower in a big V8 car? What was the decision behind that?
So I do a lot of sim racing, so it was able to help me a little bit. But our biggest decision was 4 cylinders. A lot of them aren't rear wheel drive, and it's like they're not race car, or like sort of they don't have like the snap, like you can hold them and get loose and learn how to drive it sort of thing. It's mostly front wheel drive.
Yep.
And that was the sort of thing, and 100 lap features.
You really like the endurance of the 100 laps, eh?
Yeah, it was. Our series is very respectful. Everyone it's sportsman, like, and everyone races with a lots of respect, gives each other room on track, and when you do make contact, you know it's not on purpose because the other driver is just tight or loose, and you can, like, it's 100 laps, so you have to save your car through the whole race to be there at the end.
How many Cam K is going to be really upset with me after listening to this one. I can guarantee that. Do you guys get stickered? How many events are there in the Sportsman Series season this year? 10 or 12?
There was 10.
There's 10. So how many races were you scheduled to run initially? Because I remember I heard you were only going to run a part-time schedule to get your feet wet before going full-time next year.
So we were planning on running a part-time, and then once we get the car ready, we were just like, I practiced 5 or 6 times, and we were like, I can go for the full season. And I ended up getting really sick before the first race, like the day before, and it reactivated this, like, as we were loaded up and ready to go. I was like again on the like couch, and I couldn't do anything, so I missed the first race, but I've been there for every one since.
Okay. And so this you cap off your season Friday night at Delaware Speedway. Let's talk a little bit about that. Is, first of all, going into the season, not racing one of these cars, what was your first race like after being in a junior late model, moving up to this and realizing you don't have the space, or realizing you don't have the space like you do in the junior lates?
So believe it or not, it's actually a really big difference from going to the middle of the car where your seat is placed to the left side. Like I bought a 2013 Chevy Cruze, like just a junker off my dad's friend's son, and I learned how to drive stick in that, and that sort of taught me where your points of your car is. But in my first race, I just, you gotta, like, I had practice before that, so I knew sort of where the car was and what it was gonna do. And my first race, I can't say it could have gone any better. It was a great race. I just kept it clean and finished a couple laps down and didn't have to replace anything on the car. So that was a win for us.
It's always good when you don't have to replace anything after, especially after a long race. You don't want to have to replace a whole lot of stuff. So now, obviously, going into the last race of the season, how do you feel going to and obviously going to Delaware Speedway? How are you feeling going into that event?
I'm feeling really pumped. I cannot wait to go to Delaware for my first time. The first 2 races, I missed the first one because I was really sick, and then the next one got rained out. So I'm really looking forward to finally going to Delaware.
Now, have you been watching a lot of footage from there to kind of have an idea of what the track layout is like, or have you even practiced there yet?
I have practiced there once, but with the wrong gear. I was hitting the chip halfway down the straightaway.
Oh God. That's not fun when you're doing that.
No, it really isn't, because you think you can go faster, and then all of a sudden the chip comes up and you're halfway down the straightaway.
Yeah. Overall, how would you grade your first year in the Ontario Sportsman Series?
Well, I would say it's the best rookie year a rookie could want. Like, one DNF, and that was for a faulty electrical gauge, and two sixth places, a fifth place, like 3 lead lap finishes. I've had a really good year so far.
You know what? When you're finishing in top 5, top 10s as a rookie, you're doing pretty good. The one thing I do know is you changed your number from 18 to 55. What was the decision behind it, and why 55?
So 18 was, I'm a huge Kyle Busch fan, so I ran the 18 because of him. But after junior late models, I wanted to take my own path, sort of kind of way. I just wanted to, like, sort of show a little number for myself instead of using someone else's. So number 55, when I was sick in the Ronald McDonald House, my room number was 55. So it's sort of like I had a good time there, and it made me better. Maybe it can help me in racing.
God damn, come on with that emotional stuff again. It's good that you picked a number that you resonate with, because so right now Megan is having an issue for next year because Flamboro's making a rule that you cannot run the same number and just add a letter next to it, or else their entire family, they have 4 cars now, they're gonna have 73C, 73M, see if and one car is gonna be 73, so they can't do that anymore. So nothing wrong with the Flamboro. If you guys are watching, nothing wrong with that. I agree. So we're trying to, Megan's always known 73 because that's her dad's number. So now we're trying to help her with a new identity. I think she's found one. So but yeah, like it's good to have your own identity, because especially with like junior late model, it was cool because you kind of copy the same paint scheme that Kyle Busch had with the M&Ms, right?
Yeah, we did that as a special little tribute for our last year in junior lights.
And you know what? Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's always pretty cool when you're doing a little throw. And of course, it lined up perfectly with Mars's last year with Kyle
Yeah,
Busch. So like, I don't know how much better you could have gotten a Mars. You should have got a friggin' M&M sponsorship last year for that.
we tried.
You just say, I'll raise for free candy. Like, if I get a top 5, give me free candy.
Believe it or not, that actually happened. So
Did it really?
at one of the races, someone who worked at M&M's ended up giving us boxes of M&M's and Mars bars to give out to fans.
That's awesome. See, that's the kind of activation stuff I like to hear. But no, actually, that's really cool. So, obviously going into next year, what are your plans for 2024 or for 2024?
So my goals for 2024 are more top 5s, maybe a top 3. Lead lap finishes, finish every race, keep the car clean, sort of like this year, but hopefully just better finishes.
I noticed that you run I'm gonna assume it's a GoPro inside your race car. Are you using that for feedback and to help with kind of making a notebook, or kind of going back and seeing what you've done or what mistakes you may have made to correct them for next time?
Totally. It's that's the first thing it's meant for, and second, to just give you a great point of view of where I like what the driver's doing the whole time, because people like fans don't realize how much like work you actually put into racing. It may look like you're just going around in circles, but if you look in an in-car, a driver's sawing on the wheel, going both ways, throttle control, and shifting on starts and stuff like that.
See, and that's the crazy. Like, now I just got my first ever start in a stock car on Monday night, so I'm not saying anything. But when you're standing as a spectator, even doing what I do a lot of times, at some points the noises just blend together. So it makes it easy for people to go, oh yeah, they're just turning left. It's like a nice casual drive. And that's why I really like, I have 3 GoPros. Is this one? No, that's not it. I wish I had my 7 so I could show you available. It's sitting over here on my kid's bed right now. My 7 has cracks in it. And so if I position it the right way, you can see the full picture. No, almost no issues. You almost don't notice the crack. But what I've done is I really like to put that GoPro in a lot of weird places on race cars to be able to understand the movements and the geometrics that really make what a race car is. I've put them on. So like for myself, I do media. I don't know if you know too much about me myself. I do media for the Young Drivers Canadian Modified. So they're an open wheel car. I'll slap that thing right on the right front of the roll bar, right on the passenger side, pointing right at the suspension. And you'll see that thing just sit there. The entire time I'm watching, I'm like, man, if I see that thing just go flat, I'm full. Because I know something's hit it. Either a piece of rubber or rocks, something, right? But it is, when I go back and I rewatch those videos, it's insane, especially when you have it on the right front or left front or in car facing the driver. You can really see the eye work, the hand movements, the how it's. I always say video is the best tool for a racer.
For
And
sure. Like
sorry, go ahead.
if you like watch what they're doing inside the car, is you'll see them looking not straight out the windshield, but where you can see the farthest. So you look into the next corner instead of just looking out your windshield on your bumper. You're looking into the as far as you can see to where because your hands will take you where you want to go.
You're absolutely right. It's great that you guys share some video clips from your races, especially even the close calls, because those are always really cool to see how, like, I think I just saw the one from was it Sobel, when you guys got stacked up there in turn 3, and I see you, everyone's kind of starting to go low, and you notice that there was a gap on the high side that we're going to be able to break. Because in my opinion, I watched that video like 3 times. I'm looking at, if you did not decide to make that decision to go high, you were going to hit that car in front of you.
Yeah.
So,
I've
sorry.
always been in close calls like that. I've had cars spin like right in front of me and just have very little space to go around. And it was just at Sobel, I think I gained 3 or 4 spots from doing that. Just I locked up all fours as I was trying to go right and try and maneuver around the cars. It was definitely a Code Brown moment.
That's absolutely understandable. I got some in car from a friend of mine who runs over there. Pete, actually a good friend. You were on their podcast just recently, Brandon Feeney from the Feeney Call podcast. I got some in car with him earlier this year where I'm standing up in the grandstands and I'm hollering like, "Go, like, check out, check out, check out, check out!" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm like, just stop! Where do you?" And then the next thing you see him just like sneak. I asked him like, "How much room did you really have up there?" Because there was a wreck. He decided to go high and he's got on the brakes, but he was like so late on the checkup that he ended up squeezing like right between the wall. And I said, "I'm like, how much room did you have?" He's like, "The car plus 2 inches." So actually, I think I have that video up on my TikTok for anyone who wants to go see that, or on the Joe Media TikTok page. I should have that clip up there. So yeah, he snuck through it. I'm like, I wouldn't even trust myself sometimes to put myself into a position like that. And you guys are doing that with actually like knowing that there's a chance you might get wrecked. But no, it's great to see you using that video to learn from it, because in my opinion, it's only going to make you better each time out.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's either you run into them and not take the chance, or you can take the chance to either get wrecked or go around the outside or the inside and not be involved in the wreck.
That's a good mentality to have. You know what? Let's get into our. Well, I'm thinking of a few more things. Let's get into our fan question period. As you saw earlier today, we announced that you were going to be joining us on the program tonight. And so we got a question here for our Tailored to You fan question period. Are you ready to answer it?
Sorry, what was that? They cut out.
We're ready with we're gonna do our fan question period. You ready to answer it?
Yes, sir, I am.
All right. So this is coming from William_Trillium on Instagram. He goes, "Where do you see yourself racing in 5 years?"
I hope to see myself either racing late models or maybe one race in the Pinty series. That's my ultimate goal.
You know what? That's always a good goal. You know, you're 13, so 5 years that puts you at 17. I mean, that's a pretty good goal.
I hope to be racing in the Ontario Sportsman Series for years to come, but I would love to get into something faster and maybe like 150 laps or 200 laps.
Oh, I mean, there may be rentals if you're looking for one in a couple weeks for the APC series finale. But honestly, if you keep in the trajectory you're going, I could see you getting into a APC ride, and you get the funding, you get the backing, hell, even a Pinty's race.
Maybe one day. That's the goal, is just to run one Pinty's race somewhere in my career of racing.
I don't see why that wouldn't be able to happen. But before we continue on here, I gotta thank Tailored to You Media and Designs for sponsoring the fan question period. If you guys are looking for t-shirt designs, tumblers, logo designs, hit up Tailored to You on Facebook and Instagram. But yeah, honestly, man, let's get back into it. So yeah, you were you know what? Okay, so let's dive into that a little bit. Where, if you were to run one Pinty's race, where would it be and why?
So I would love to race at many different tracks, but I don't know if I had the opportunity and I had to choose which track I could race at, I would probably choose Mosport just because my dad used to run track days there all the time. And it's a really unique track that I would love to run.
How many races have you been able to watch there?
I've gone to pretty much every Pinty's race since I was about 6 months old.
Damn.
Maybe missing one or two there, here and there, just because it's the same race as us.
Yeah, that's understandable though. You know what? I do love Mosport a lot. I think it's such a unique track, and I really wish NASCAR would come back to the track because look how many great finishes it created.
For sure. Like I've been hearing NASCAR is coming to Canada, but they're planning on going to Montreal instead of Mosport.
I know that's the only issue. I'd NASCAR. If I know you're not listening, but if you're listening, please give us Mosport. Just let's switch it up between Mosport and Montreal for all I care at this point. Like one year, or make it a Canadian triple. Like let's make it a double or something. Like give us 3 races or a triple, whatever. Let's give us a Canadian triple crown.
Yeah. It would
Like,
be awesome. Cup cars with their new the next gens to go around Mosport with the elevation changes.
I think it would almost it would give us a little bit of Sonoma, but with the speed of Watkins Glen.
Yeah, Sonoma, Watkins Glen, and Circuit of the Americas would be
Yeah.
close there, I believe.
Well, I think the circuit, yeah, I guess the elevation. So yeah, Circuit of the Americas would be the correct answer there. But I've been lucky enough to go to Montreal. Actually, it was the first time they ever put windshield wipers on the cars. When they had that huge downpour back in like 2010, that was the first time. 2010? No, 2008, 2009 ish. Oh, now I'm dating myself here because I was 16 when I went. Anyways, but yeah, it was the first time they ever put windshield wipers on the cars. Because there is the infamous moment where they had the guy had the Swiffer.
Yeah, Carl Edwards with the Swift.
Yeah. I was there for that race.
Seeing the highlights of that race, is that the one where Marcos Ambrose and Robbie Gordon got into it?
Oh my god, I think so. I think you're right. So I'm trying to remember who, like, it must have been 2009. 2009. Now I gotta look this up. 9 Montreal Napa winner. 2009. Carl Edwards won.
Carl Edwards won.
But yeah, that's what it says here. Let's see. Yeah, Rain Delay, Marcus Ambrose. There must have been something there.
I'm trying to remember. That was before I was born, so.
God damn. Yeah, right there. That's where I didn't want. That was the thing I was trying to avoid here. Because I'm damn near over half your age. So going, obviously, over the off season, what are you going to do to prepare for? Let's get back onto our rate. Like, let's get back to about you racing, not everyone else. For 2024, what are you going to do this off season to prepare yourself? What are you going to do this off season to prepare yourself for next season?
So definitely lots of sim time will help because my Make-A-Wish, I got a racing simulator, so I go on iRacing a lot, and it's seemed to help a lot of just being able to tell when the car is loose or tight or when there's cars around you. But we'll probably strip the body down and remount it because it's a little messed up right now. But it'll be rewrapped in a different design for next year. And maybe just a few adjustments here and there.
So what kind? Okay, so let's talk about iRacing a little bit here, so I can get a better idea as well. So everyone else can get a better idea of what you do to practice as well. What tracks do you normally run that help you get prepared for, or help you with that seat time that we obviously can't really get in Canada here after October?
So there's quite a few tracks that help, like New Smyrna, USA Speedway, Lanier. Some of them are not tracks that are open anymore, like Lanier, Langley, which is sort of like a Sauble.
Okay.
Um, just a bunch of short tracks overall that can be typed sort of like the tracks that we run. Like USA is more like Delaware, and New Smyrna is sort of like a Sunset Varney cross.
Okay. Uh, so obviously, so you're gonna do a lot of sim work. Are you gonna do anything fun throughout the off season here to also unwind yourself a little bit from the race season?
There's not much winter sports that I really do. Maybe a little bit of road hockey here and there, but just maybe going out in the quad and blasting through some snow.
Nothing wrong with that. Uh, I think that's almost gonna wrap up our time here tonight. But before we let you go here, I like to give people a couple minutes to thank everyone from, I guess you could say, Carl Edwards winning 2009 because you weren't even born yet. Uh, to Kurt Busch, obviously, for giving you the advice to get your first race win. Um, but you got the floor for the next couple of minutes to thank everyone who's supported your racing career plus your sponsors. So the floor is yours, man.
I would love to thank my family, my mom, my sister, my dad, my grandma. She's helped out a lot. My uncle, my aunts. They've all come to my races, watched, and supported me. Um, I have to thank my friend. Um, he's been coming to a couple races and just helps out with a couple things. I'd like to thank Kevin Gallant, Kira Gallant. They've been great spotter and crew chief for. I've had them for 3 races, and they're coming to Delaware this week. Glenn Schnur, Jeremy Coulter, they've all been huge help, and I really appreciate all of it. Like all the drivers in our series have helped out. Chad McGlynn, Brad Robinson, Kevin Trevlin, guys like that. They've all been super helpful in teaching me what I need to do. And of course, I'd love to thank all my sponsors, Tile Plus, uh, Alter Ego, MBRP, SteelCon. I got a lot of them, of course. But XLIT, XL Care, Fusion Court, Northern Performance, Epic Racewear, Legendary Motor Car, Parmar Real Estate, CarStar Brampton, Northern Force Hydrovacs. There's so many of them. I'm so thankful for everyone who has come on board through my whole career. MBRP has been a long time sponsor. Tile Plus, obviously, is my dad. He's been on the car every year. Have to thank all the contingency sponsors for the payouts and making the series so great, and the funding, and Maurizio Cocci for everything he's done in the series. Adam Martin, the race director, Kyle. Just everyone in general has been a big help this year, and I really appreciate it.
All right, that's awesome, man. So your last race of the year is this Friday, September 15th at Delaware
Yes.
Speedway. Fans can catch it live on Rogers TV. If you guys want to stay up to date with Ollie Ferguson and Ollie Strong Racing, you guys can find them on Facebook and Instagram, or just Facebook.
You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Even better. So what? Give us your handle so that way everyone can go check you out online.
So on Facebook, we are Ollie Strong OSR. Instagram, we are Ollie Strong Racing, and TikTok, we are Ollie Strong Racing.
Awesome, man. Well, we'll be checking you out. We'll be watching this Friday night at Delaware Speedway. I'll be watching probably online YouTube. But good luck this weekend. Enjoy your off season, and hopefully I run into you and I get a chance to meet you over the winter of our next season.
Thank you very much for having me on, and I hope so.
All right, man. You have yourself a good night. All right.
You too.
And we're back after our conversation with Ollie Ferguson there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed them. I thought it was a lot of fun. I couldn't sometimes, guys, I'm gonna be honest, there's times where I don't figure out where I need to go after a question. I'm sorry for the delay sometime. Trying to improve on that, but we're gonna keep going at it. Next up on the podcast, I'm gonna go check with them and make sure they're still good. I just had it up too. I don't know why I did that. Yeah, we enjoyed. We had a lot of fun with that. This Sunday on the podcast, we should be sitting down with Daniel Hahn from the Can-Am Midgets. I'm excited. I got to go reach out to him, make sure we're still good to go. But I don't know yet. We may have to move it because I think we'll see. Anyways, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, and make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe to the True North Racing Podcast on all major podcasting platforms, including YouTube. You guys can follow us on Facebook, Instagram. You guys can also follow along with us on TikTok at Joe Media. And to stay up to date with some stuff we're doing, head up over to joemedia.ca. You guys can also check out our drivers' profiles to see who all our drivers are and where they're racing. We also have our weekly lineup and breakdowns that come up at every Friday and Monday, and you guys can see where they run, where they finish, and 2023 is almost over. But if you guys are looking for promotions for 2024, please message us. We do have packages. You guys can check it out. Hit the promotions tab at the top of joemedia.ca, and it'll show us our fees, what we do, what we can do for you and your race team. There's a lot we're going to do. I'm not going to be doing a lot of this podcasting stuff for the winter, guys. We're going to kind of tuck it away for the winter, and I'm going to do a lot of behind the scenes work on Joe Media to kick it off for next year. We're going to come back in probably about February afterwards. We're going to continue doing stuff online. We may do a podcast here and there. All kind of depends. We do have some other stuff we're working on, but I can't wait to share with you guys when we finally get a chance to. Make sure Friday night, guys, go check out APTN's Friday Night Thunder at 8:30. Check it out. If you guys can't make it, can't watch it, save it, watch it later. But this weekend, 2 big races we got going on. We got the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals going on over at Oshwegan Speedway Friday, Saturday, and then we got 3 days of racing going on at Sunset Speedway. Go check them out, guys. Support your local racetracks. Season's almost over. We need all the support we can get. But other than that, guys, thank you guys for listening to True North Racing Podcast brought to you by Vision 20 Studios. Thank you to all our amazing partners, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye now.
The car zooming by, hey, True North Racing, let's go.